the Soul, a personal journey of peace and harmony and being still.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Soothing the Creative Soul. You know, this week or this past little while, I've been feeling kind of down in the doldrums, kind of down in the dumps. I think the lack of sunshine has been part of it, although for the past few days the sun is finally shining. Hooray! And just a really long, hard winter, and I've just been going through some inner struggles as to what direction I want to go with in my life and what I'm doing, and creatively I'm losing my mojo a little bit. So I know you all can relate to those kinds of things. I've got some health issues. We all have our stuff that we have to deal with. So I thought this episode I would focus on a little tool that we could create, that we could carry around, that could kind of help us maybe with some positive affirmations, prayers, whatever your belief system is. I just want to say a disclaimer right now that Soothing the Creative Soul has nothing at all to do with religion. You can be whatever religion you want. It doesn't matter. I'm not trying to convert anybody to be anything, but I do believe that we are made of three things. We have our mind, our body, and also our spirit. And sometimes it's our spirit that we neglect the most. And when we if we're not in balance in all three things, then that's when we feel a little off. So for this episode, we're going to create what's called portable prayers, or you can call them portable affirmations, whatever you want to. And so the supplies you're going to need is like a little coin bag like this. This is a little bit bigger than the usual one. You can see by the size of my hand. I found this one at the Goodwill store, these claspy kind here. So you're going to need that. And then we're going to use some acrylic paint to cover up if it has any writing on it. Some of them are just plain like this. And some lace, maybe some stamps. A bird stamp would be good. So I got the inspiration again from Somerset Studios. Stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy making some portable prayers tucked into tiny purses. So I have here a selection of different change purses that I found at the Goodwill. So they all work just fine. So I've got this one. It's kind of a olive green vinyl with a zip closure. I've got this sparkly kind of a sheer netted purple one, and it does have that clasp on it too. And then I think this is just plastic. I have a feeling this was a little girl's purse in a little kit. I've got another zip one here, a pink one. It says Jessica. I've got this one with all these sequins on, and just plain on the one side with the trim of beading. So what I plan on doing with this one is removing all of these sequins and saving them for another project. And this plastic pleather one as well, which is navy blue with pink trim, and then the one that I first showed you. So the first thing I'm going to do is to kind of get them ready. They're canvases, as it were. I'm going to use some acrylic paint on some of them, and some of them I might leave the way they are and distress them up. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is get them all ready to the way I want them. Okay, I've gone ahead and grunged up my little change purses. This is the one that had all the writing on it before. And as you can see, I used some Craft Smart wine ink and just colored over that writing. And I want it to look very grungy and very beat up. So I used the wine paint on both sides, and then I spritzed it with some Adirondack Color Wash in Espresso, and then dried it with my heat gun. So that's that one. This was that really pink Jessica one. I left some of it pink because I wanted it to look kind of dusty rose. And for this, I used tan acrylic paint and just kind of rubbed it over and spritzed on some more of that espresso. And then when I started to spritz it, the Jessica print came out. You can see they're really bold, but you'll see how I'll fix that up. So that's the original color in there, that bright pink, so I grunged that one all up. This one was the one that was covered with all of those sequins. So I cut all the sequins off, spritzed the whole thing with the espresso. It took it so well. It was just a matter of seconds. Then I just swiped over it with a little bit of tan and then a little bit of that burgundy. And I like how that one turned out. And this one was that purple one with the big handle, the plastic handle, and it was just too shiny and glitzy for what I wanted it for. So again, I just used tan paint and the Adirondack wash, and it's still a little bit wet. And then if you can see right here, I used alcohol ink, and the color I used was Latte. And it colored that nice and toned down all that bright, because it was just too bright for me. I love how that one turned out. This was the navy blue one with the pink trim, and again, just the tan ink all over in the color wash. And then when I was drying it, I dried it a little bit more so the paint would crackle. So you can see that there. And then this one was just dark green, and all I did actually is take my Stays On black ink pad, rubbed it all over this because this is such a shiny surface, and then I just took a sponge brush and sponged on the tan ink. So I'm going to set these aside to really dry, and the next thing I'm going to do is work on the canvas. I forgot to mention that I also used some Claudine Helmuth sticky back canvas and black Stays On ink, and I stamped some images on the canvas. It's a 12 by 12 sheet, and then I cut them all out. I use mostly bird images and butterflies and things like that. I glimmer misted my lace and the stamped images. There's my bird right there. And then next, I'm just going to roughly trim the lace. I'm going for that grunge look, so there's no rhyme or reason. And so you can just trim it to fit. And then using my glue gun, I'm going to glue the lace on both sides. I cut a piece to fit for both of the sides. So just apply a lot of glue with your glue gun. I used a glue gun because this is going to be in your purse, and I just want to make sure nothing would fall apart. The next thing I'm going to do is take some vintage photo distress ink and just distress all around the edges of my stamped image. In this instance, it's the bird. You're going for kind of a faint image. You don't want the bird to really stand out. So once you're done doing that, peel off the sticky backing and then pull away some of the threads, so again you can get that grunged up look. So I did that all the way around the stamped image, and although it's got a sticky back on it, I still am going to apply it to the front of this lace here with my glue gun, so it is adhered on really well. And I just did one on one side. I'm not going to put an image, so there'll be a front and a back to my little purse. So the next thing I did is add some embellishments here. You can see this chain hanging down. It didn't have any loop or anything, so I just put it over the closure, and I used a little slip ring and tightened it really tight so that it couldn't slide off there. I used a couple of Tim Holtz accoutrement buttons here with a little Tim Holtz clips, you can see. And then I used a key. It's not a Tim Holtz key, but it has the word dream on it, but you can't really see it. So I used one of his tips actually. You just take a little bit of white acrylic paint and you kind of smear it on. I'm just going to use my finger. And then you just smear it over the word and let it set, and then wipe it off, and then the word appears much more visible. I found these 3 cute little pearls. They were just in the bottom of my embellishment, so I'm just going to glue them on the opposite side of the keys just to balance it off. And so there, it's pretty much finished except for one little thing. Now for the inside, I found this beautiful, beautiful verse, and it's actually a song that I absolutely love from The Color Purple, and I labeled it with courage, and it says, I believe I have inside of me everything that I need to live a bountiful life. With all the love alive in me, I'll stand as tall as the tallest tree, and I'm thankful for every day that I'm given, both the easy and hard ones I'm living. But most of all, I'm thankful for loving who I really am. I'm beautiful and I'm here. And that's from The Color Purple. And those words just really, really move me. So I'm going to keep that inside of my little purse. But the first thing I'm going to do before I do that is distress it using some scissors, just kind of scraping along the sides lightly, all the way around all four corners. And then I'm going to use some vintage photo again and just distress this paper all over, and everywhere I fold it I'll put some distress ink on that and get it looking all grungy. The last little thing I want to add to the front of my purse is a little tiny tag. So I typed out some words when I was typing out the poems, and right here you see gratitude and hope. And so I'm going to use my little tiny tag punch from Stampin' Up, and I'm stamping out the word hope. And then I'm going to take some distress ink and just go around the edges and kind of grunge that up. And then just adhere it to the lower right-hand corner, sort of just tucked a little bit behind those pearls, just to finish this off. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all of the purses here. But just before I do, a couple things I wanted to mention. After I grunge them up with the acrylic paint and stuff, I use Mod Podge all over all of them. You could also use it on the outside surface as well if you wanted to. But I just did it right on the purse. And the font that I used for the prayers and the verses inside was American Typewriter font. So this is the first one, all done with my prayer time. And this is the second one. This was that green one that I took the black StazOn ink pad and wiped all over the front and the back of it. And then I just used some pink lace and a really pretty flower trim. And I added some pearls on the side, and there's my bird image there that's been glimmer misted. And then on the zipper pull, I've got a little metal tag with the word truth. And then there's just some lace and some pearls, and on the back there's a leather button, and I used some of the lace through the buttonhole to make a tie. And then I have a big gold safety pin there. And the prayer inside reads, Truth, this above all to thine own self be true, and it must follow as night the day, thou canst be false to any one, by Shakespeare. That quote is just a strong reminder of being true to yourself. And this next one is the littlest one that had all the sequins all over it. I just added a couple of buttons. One is a Tim Holtz one, and the other one is just a vintage button. And then you can see the little word reach there by the bird on the canvas. And my daughter has completely claimed this one already. She just loves it. And she said she's going to keep her change in it, and every time she goes in to get it, she'll be reminded of the quote inside, and the lace goes all the way around. It's very, very dainty. And this one says, Courage, you must do the thing you think you cannot do, by Eleanor Roosevelt. So that's a very, very good one. And she's about to take a flight, and she's a little bit afraid of flying, so she thought that'd be great just to pull in and reach, give her a little extra confidence. This next one is that navy blue one that had the pink trim around it. And for the center lace there, I used a doily, and I cut out the flower motif, and on both sides I used vintage buttons, and that's a burlap button with a pearl in the center. And you can see on the other side the flower motif better because it doesn't have the butterfly canvas on it, and has the word soar. And I think this would be a great one to give somebody as a thank you gift. It also has the Tim Holtz metal tag on it. It says no. And there's Making Memories little glitzy thing. And then a Tim Holtz trinket pen, and it says fragile. And the poem inside starts with gratitude. I thank you, God, for this most amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees and a blue true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes, by E. E. Cummings. The next one is that purple glitzy one that I thought was a little girl purse. I love how this turned out. After painting it and Mod Podging it, it made the fabric much more sturdy. And it has some American Craft ribbon roses on it in black and pink, and then the soar butterfly, and this flower with a feather. And I love, 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 just love how it turned out. At the front around the clasp there, I alcohol inked it, and it turned out so nice. And the prayer says, hope. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tunes without the words and never stops at all, by Emily Dickinson. And so that's why I added the flower with the feather on it, just to add to the feather theme. The very last one is the Jessica bag, that bright, bright pink one. So there's my bird image there. And I use that same flower with the feather because I really like that flower. I got them from my friend Carol. Thanks, Carol. And inside there was a little pouch in the front. I added lace across the front where the name Jessica kept showing up. And I stamped on this tag, and it says, every artist dips her brush into her own soul and paints her own truth into her pictures. So I attached that with the chain with a little link onto the zipper pull. There's also a key there and another Making Memories little gem and a tiny little tag that says hope and a vintage button. And the inside reads, beauty. People are like stained glass windows. They sparkle and shine when the sun is out, but when the darkness sets in, their true beauty is revealed only if there is a light from within. So these are my portable prayers in tiny little purses that I just love. I totally enjoy doing this activity, this creative activity. Talk about take joy in the journey, because before I started this, my mojo was just stuck, and I just feel so much better after I've completed these. So I certainly do not need 6 little purses with prayers in them, and my daughter's already claimed 1, so that leaves me with 5 and 1 for myself. So I plan on giving one of these away. So all you have to do is be a subscriber, leave a comment, and in your comment tell me how would you use your portable prayers in tiny little purses, and I'll pick a winner. I'm not sure which purse I'll give, but it'll be one of these. So I thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.